The first artist advancing to lives is Sofronio.
Behind the bright lights of the voice stage and the thunderous applause that followed every breathtaking performance stood a man whose voice carried more than just melody. It carried a lifetime of pain, resilience, and heartbreak.
The voice finale with our very own Sofronio Vasquez.
Sofronio Vasquez wasn't just another contestant. Every note he sang was laced with the echoes of a past most couldn't even begin to fathom. His life, hidden in the shadows of fame, tells a story far more powerful than any performance.
Sofronio, the growth has been exponential. He is a superstar. Everything about him.
A story of loss, struggle, and a relentless fight to find hope in the darkest of places. It's the story of a man who gave everything he had to his music, not because he wanted to, but because he had to. It was his lifeline, his sanctuary, his way of surviving a world that had been cruel to him time and time again. Early life in the Philippines. What is it like to grow up in a world where dreams seem out of reach, where survival takes precedence over ambition? In the small, impoverished neighborhood of Mindo in the Philippines, life was anything but easy for young Sofronio Vasquez. Home was a single room, a fragile structure barely large enough for the family to share. Privacy was non-existent, and the walls seemed to echo the struggles of a family doing their best to get by. There was no running water, no electricity to illuminate the dark nights. Even small comforts were rare luxuries. Yet Sofronio's family managed to create a semblance of warmth in an otherwise harsh reality. How do you find happiness in such circumstances? For the Vasquez family, it was found in togetherness. Despite the difficulties, they laughed, supported each other, and clung to the hope that something better might lie ahead. Yet financial struggles weighed heavily on them. Sofronio's parents worked tirelessly to make ends meet, taking on whatever jobs they could find. But the question always lingered: how much longer could they endure? And in a place like Mindo, what future could a young boy like Sofronio hope for? Cultural influence. Amid the challenges of daily life, there was one thing that consistently brought joy to the community: music. In the Philippines, karaoke isn't just an activity, it's a tradition, a way of life. It turns the ordinary into the extraordinary, allowing people to momentarily forget their worries and immerse themselves in melodies that speak to the heart. For Sofronio, karaoke became a source of wonder and inspiration. Imagine a boy standing barefoot in a room filled with neighbors and family, listening as someone sang their heart out into a microphone. The lyrics told stories of love, loss, and hope, stories that mirrored the lives of those who listened. Was this where his own story as a singer would begin? With every song, Sofronio found himself drawn deeper into the magic of music. It wasn't just about the sounds, it was about the emotions they stirred. Singing wasn't merely a pastime for him, it was a lifeline, a way to connect with a world larger than the confines of his neighborhood. Could this be his escape? Could this gift of music offer him a path out of poverty? Discovery of musical talent. What does it feel like to discover something you're truly meant to do? For Sofronio, that realization came gradually, through small but meaningful moments. His voice was first noticed during family gatherings, where he would sing for loved ones. What started as a casual activity soon became the centerpiece of these gatherings. People began to notice that his voice wasn't like the others. It carried something special, something deeply moving. How could a child so young convey such emotion? Was it his life experiences that gave his voice its depth, or was it something more? As he continued to sing, Sofronio's talent became undeniable. Yet, life wasn't about to make things easy for him. The challenges of poverty persisted, and there was little time or money for formal training. How far could raw talent alone take him? Performing at local community events gave him a taste of the stage, albeit a modest one. These weren't grand concerts, they were small gatherings where people celebrated life's little victories. But for Sofronio, each performance was a step closer to realizing his dreams. Did he dare to hope that these small beginnings could lead to something greater? Turning struggles into songs. Sofronio's connection to music wasn't just about skill, it was about heart. Every note he sang seemed to tell a story rooted in his own experiences. His songs reflected the realities of his life in Mindo, the hardships, the love of his family, and the unyielding hope that kept him going. How do you turn pain into art? For Sofronio, music was the answer. The struggles that might have broken others became the foundation of his passion. He sang not only for himself, but for those around him, bringing light to dark days and reminding everyone that joy could still be found, even in the smallest of moments. But how long could he sustain this dream in the face of adversity? Could music truly be the key to a better future? Or was it just a fleeting escape? Sofronio's early life in the Philippines wasn't just about hardship. It was about learning how to persevere. Every challenge he faced, every obstacle he overcame, added another layer to his story. His upbringing in Mindo may have been humble, but it gave him the strength to chase his dreams, no matter how far away they seemed. Would his voice be enough to carry him beyond the boundaries of his neighborhood? Could the songs born from struggle turn into anthems of triumph? These questions lingered, unanswered, as Sofronio continued to sing his way through life's challenges. For Sofronio, music was more than a dream. It was a lifeline, a source of hope, and a testament to the power of resilience. As he stood on makeshift stages, singing his heart out, one thing was clear: his journey was just beginning. The family tragedy. Imagine watching the person you admire most in the world slowly slip away. For Sofronio, that person was his father, the rock of his family, and the man he looked up to with unwavering respect. Growing up in a modest home in the Philippines, Sofronio's family didn't have much, but they were rich in love and togetherness. His father's presence was the glue that held it all together. Then came the diagnosis: kidney failure, a disease that brought with it not just emotional anguish, but financial despair. What would you do if the person you depended on suddenly needed you to be their pillar? Sofronio's father fought valiantly, but each hospital visit drained the family's resources and spirits. And then, the unthinkable. In 2018, his father passed away, leaving behind a heartbroken family and an unimaginable void. Sofronio, just 18 years old, found himself thrust into the role of the family's provider. How does one fill shoes that feel too big to even step into? The decision to leave. Faced with the harsh reality of his father's absence, Sofronio worked tirelessly to keep his family afloat. Yet, no matter how many hours he worked or how hard he pushed himself, it never felt like enough. The weight of responsibility was suffocating, and the future looked bleak. Would you leave everything you know behind to give your family a better life? Sofronio found himself at this crossroads, grappling with a heart-wrenching decision. The United States, a land of promise and opportunity, beckoned, but it also meant leaving behind his family, his home, and the memories of his father. Could he bear the loneliness, the uncertainty, and the fear of the unknown? With a heavy heart and a steely determination, Sofronio made the choice. He would move to America, not for himself, but for his family, for the chance to rewrite their story. Struggles in a foreign land. What happens when the dream doesn't match the reality? When Sofronio arrived in America, he was met with challenges he hadn't fully anticipated. The language barrier turned everyday interactions into uphill battles, and the unfamiliar culture made him feel like a stranger in every room. Isolation crept in, a constant reminder of the family he had left behind. And then came the jobs. Long hours in low-paying positions that barely covered the basics. How do you keep going when your body is exhausted and your spirit feels crushed? Every paycheck was a lifeline for his family back home, but it came at the cost of his own well-being. Yet, even in his darkest moments, Sofronio clung to one thing: his music. In the quiet of his tiny apartment, he would sing, pouring all his pain, love, and longing into every note. Was this his way out? His path to something greater? The fight to keep the dream alive. How do you hold on to hope when everything around you feels like it's falling apart? For Sofronio, the answer lay in resilience. Despite the challenges, he refused to give up on his dream of becoming a singer. He began sharing videos of himself singing, his voice a raw and powerful reflection of his struggles. Slowly, people started to take notice. Each comment of encouragement, each small moment of recognition, felt like a spark in the darkness. Could this be the break he had been waiting for? Even as he juggled multiple jobs, Sofronio never stopped singing. He performed wherever he could: small gatherings, open mics, and community events. Every performance was a step forward, a testament to his determination to succeed, not just for himself, but for his family. The viral moment that changed everything. What does it take to stand out in a sea of aspiring artists on social media? For Sofronio, it wasn't polished videos or flashy effects. It was his voice. A simple, heartfelt cover of "That's What Friends Are For" on Facebook struck a chord with millions of viewers. The video quickly went viral, gathering over 9 million views and spreading his talent far beyond his small hometown in the Philippines. But was this just a moment of fleeting fame? That question lingered, even as his next viral hit, a soul-stirring rendition of "Nothing's Gonna Change My Love for You," caught fire on TikTok. With every view, every comment, and every share, it became clear. Sofronio wasn't just another singer. He was someone worth listening to. Could this momentum carry him beyond the screen? Was it possible for a viral sensation to make a real mark on the music industry? The Voice audition. Imagine the pressure of walking onto a stage where every note could change your life. That's exactly where Sofronio found himself as he auditioned for The Voice. The stakes couldn't have been higher. 4 chairs, 4 music legends, and 1 chance to prove himself. Would they turn their chairs? Would they see the potential that millions of online fans had already recognized? Sofronio chose to perform I'm Going Down, a song known for its emotional depth and vocal challenges. From the very first note, the tension in the room was palpable. The audience was silent, hanging on every word. And then, as if to break the spell, Snoop Dogg hit his button. 1 chair turned into 2, then 3, then 4. Gwen Stefani, Reba McEntire, Michael Bublé, all captivated. The room erupted in applause, but Sofronio barely noticed. He was too focused, too caught up in the moment that could define his career. But was this just the beginning of his challenges, or the end of the first chapter in a much bigger story? The choice that would shape his future. When all 4 coaches turn their chairs, the choice isn't just a privilege, it's a responsibility. Each coach had something unique to offer. Gwen Stefani praised his ability to connect emotionally, promising to help him find his artistic identity. Reba McEntire highlighted his soulful tone, likening his voice to a smooth, timeless quality. And Snoop Dogg? He brought his signature charisma, promising to elevate Sofronio's performances to a whole new level. But it was Michael Bublé who resonated most deeply with Sofronio. Bublé spoke not just as a coach, but as someone who had once stood where Sofronio was now. He recognized the vulnerability in his voice, the story it carried, and the potential it held. Would this be the right choice? Could Michael Bublé guide him to greatness? Or would another coach have been a better fit? More than a performance for Sofronio. That audition was about more than winning over the coaches. It was about everything he had overcome to get there. Growing up in a small, humble town, he had faced countless obstacles. His family struggled to make ends meet, and his father, who had always been his biggest supporter, passed away before seeing his son's star rise. Every note he sang on that stage wasn't just for the judges or the audience. It was for his father, his family, and the little boy who once dreamed of a brighter future. But would the world understand the depth of his story? Or would it take time for the layers of his journey to unfold? With Michael Bublé as his coach, Sofronio is stepping into a new world of opportunities. But the competition is fierce, and every performance will be a test, not just of his vocal ability, but of his resilience and determination. Will his talent and story be enough to carry him through the competition? How will he navigate the pressures of being in the spotlight? And most importantly, can he continue to inspire millions while staying true to himself? Sofronio's story is far from over. In fact, it's just beginning. What's next for this incredible voice? Only time will tell. Sofronio Vasquez's story is one of raw emotion and incredible resilience. Born in a small, humble house in Mindanao, Philippines, his life was anything but easy. From the beginning, he faced challenges that most people could never imagine. Yet, through all the adversity, Sofronio's story became a beacon of hope for anyone fighting to overcome the struggles life throws at them. How did he transform his pain into motivation for success? What fuels his drive to keep going, despite the many hurdles? The answers to these questions lie in his deep commitment to his family and the powerful vow he made to honor his father's memory. From the moment his father became ill, the weight of responsibility fell on his young shoulders. Sofronio wasn't just a son, he was the family's provider, the one who had to step up. Losing his father to kidney failure in 2018 was devastating, but rather than sinking into despair, he made a vow. His family would never face such hardship again. His love for his family wasn't just emotional, it was practical too. Every step he took, every song he sang, was a step toward making sure they were taken care of. Can you imagine how heavy the heart of a child must feel when they realize they're the only one left to support their family? That's exactly where Sofronio found himself. His father, once his pillar of strength, was gone, and in his place was a young man filled with determination to carry on. But what happens when life tests you in ways you never thought possible? Sofronio's life was already marked by struggle. A small house shared with his parents and 3 siblings. No running water, no privacy. But then came the blow of losing his father. the one person who had always been there for him. Instead of allowing himself to be crushed by grief, Sofronio used it as fuel. Imagine turning one of your deepest pains into your driving force for success. That's exactly what Sofronio did. It was more than just honoring his father's memory. It was about making sure the sacrifices his father made weren't in vain. Every performance, every note, was dedicated to his family and to his late father. Sofronio's commitment didn't just stop with making his family proud. It pushed him beyond the boundaries of his small hometown. After losing his father, he knew he had to step out of his comfort zone, even though it meant leaving behind everything he knew. Moving to America was a bold decision, one that seemed impossible but felt necessary. He believed that in the United States, there were opportunities that could change everything for his family. The pain of leaving his roots behind, the echoes of his childhood memories, were all part of the struggle. But what could be more powerful than the belief that a better life is possible for those you love? This belief became his guiding light, and it didn't take long for Sofronio to find his place. As he continued singing, he found his voice not just through his music, but through the connection he built with people who understood his pain and struggles. But that's not where the story ends. Through his viral covers on social media, something remarkable happened. His voice began to touch the hearts of millions. A cover of "That's What Friends Are For" went viral on Facebook, racking up over 9 million views. Can you feel the weight of all those eyes on him? The pressure must have been immense, but Sofronio embraced it, knowing that every viewer was another step closer to his dream. His soulful renditions on TikTok also earned him millions of views, drawing attention from all corners of the world. These moments weren't just about fame or recognition. They were a testament to how far he'd come, how far his family had come. What does it feel like to go from struggling in a small neighborhood to having the world listen to your voice? However, the real turning point in Sofronio's journey came when he auditioned for The Voice in 2024. The emotional weight of this moment was immense. This wasn't just a competition for him. It was the culmination of years of hardship, sacrifice, and perseverance. As he stepped onto that stage, the memory of his father and the responsibility to his family pressed heavily on his heart. He poured everything into his performance of "I'm Going Down," and just as he sang the first note, the coaches began turning their chairs one by one. Can you imagine the feeling of your idols, Snoop Dogg, Gwen Stefani, Michael Bublé, all wanting you on their team? The standing ovation was not just for his incredible talent, but for everything he had endured to get there. But beyond the applause, what truly mattered was the decision he made to choose Michael Bublé as his coach. This wasn't just about a career opportunity. It was about honoring the sacrifices he made, about making sure his family's future was secured. What could be more fulfilling than knowing you've made it this far? Not just for yourself, but for the people you love. Sofronio Vasquez's story is one of resilience, but it's also one of hope. Hope that no matter how hard life gets, there is always a chance for something better. His unwavering determination to give his family a better life, to keep his father's memory alive through his music, and to fight for every opportunity, shows that even in the darkest times, there is a way forward. His journey reminds us that success is not just about fame. It's about love, sacrifice, and the power to turn tragedy into triumph. What are your thoughts on Sofronio's journey? Do you think his story brings a deeper meaning to the songs he shared with the world? Let us know your perspective in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you found his story as powerful and heartbreaking as we did, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to our channel for more stories that uncover the voices behind the spotlight. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.